Ladies and gentlemen, the following is a conversation with friend of the channel, Franky, who runs the Corcoran Entertainment Show, which is a podcast both here on YouTube and anywhere else you find your podcasts. And in this episode, we talked about all things The Walking Dead, TV shows as a whole, even some movies, and the creator economy here on YouTube. So without further ado, let's jump right in.
Today, I am joined by one of my favorite YouTubers. He's been on the podcast before, and I said for episode 150, gotta bring on one of the guys who has influenced me in a lot of ways. And the fact that he was so willing to come on and listen to me ramble and stuff like that. Jerry's Takes. Jerry, what's going on, man?
Nothing, man. Congratulations on 150 episodes. That's crazy. Isn't it? It's so weird to think that that goes by so quickly, that amount of time. 150, it feels like nothing. You're like, oh, I just made 150? It's always so crazy to see, but congratulations. Happy to be here.
Oh, thanks, man. Appreciate that. And I mean, don't sell yourself short, because I mean, you've done how many videos now have you done now over the last few years?
I have no idea. I think the last I looked was like 260, maybe more than that. I have no idea. Combined with shorts.
I'm slowly catching up to you.
Yeah, I have no idea. I don't really look too often. The other day I was like, this is a lot of videos. It's a lot more than I thought. I don't know. It doesn't feel like it. It's crazy.
Well, either way, quite the accomplishment. And we were just talking before just how, compared to where you started, you had the same mic I do now. And now you are with the Joe Rogan mic. So you have really, you went from starting small, working your way up. Soon you're going to have your own studio, I'd imagine. I mean, that's probably in the works, is it? Or
One day, not now. Still in my apartment, in my bedroom, with no door behind me, which is the worst because, there's two of us here. So it gets loud sometimes. But
wait, so that's not a door? I thought that was a window.
This is my portal into my other bedroom, or my other part of the apartment.
Other bedroom. Two bedrooms.
Two bedrooms next to each other. Boom. That's all it is.
I'm just picturing mid-interview, someone just walks out like ass naked or something like that. And you're like, God, I gotta blur that out. Like,
get out of here.
Yeah, get the fuck out of here.
I'm recording here. Come on.
You're Italian too, right? Is that correct?
Yes,
that's right. Even I can even sense that in every time in your videos you always say to get the fuck out of here.
Get out of here. How you doing? I obviously don't do that in real life, but I do like to play it up because I get made fun of a lot for being Italian. I feel like at work I'm the only Italian, so everyone's like, "Oh, it's the Guido coming in." I'm like, "Come on." I'm like, come on.
I don't think it's a bad thing. Like I mean, like literally, I can say now that I know an Italian, which is you. I don't know many Italians where I am, so I think that's pretty
true. There's some of us. Good. Some of us are lingering the earth. We're around here somewhere. We're walking like walkers. That's what we're doing.
Yeah, literally. Yeah, just like walkers. And so, yeah, for those of you guys, first off, be sure to check out Jerry's Takes on YouTube. This will also be on his YouTube channel, this video version. If you're listening to this on Spotify and you want to see what this guy looks like, be sure to check out his YouTube channel and see all the stuff he does, lots of Walking Dead coverage and all that. And he was on, I think it was back in February. And so it's crazy just how fast the year's gone by. So what's all new with you ever since we last talked, which was back in February?
Oh, man. I don't know. Just chugging away, making content. I don't know. My takes, and I made a video about this, my stances talking about like what I talk about The Walking Dead has continued to like slowly change over time, and I'm starting to care a lot less about it, which is unfortunate because I love it and I still like it's still something I'm very passionate about, like the show overall. But with everything that's happened since February in the universe and what's been coming out lately, I've just been continuously disappointed. So as far as taking stuff goes, like Jerry's Take stuff goes, that's kind of where I'm at. So I'm trying to focus on, of course, Walking Dead content, but I'm starting to slowly dive into some other shows, other things. Like right now I'm watching Industry. Just watched that show Monsters about the two Menendez brothers, I think they are. fascinating.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, things I want to talk about more. And then other than that, just living life in New York, hanging out.
Living life in New York. Haven't seen Dean Norris again since you since you met him in person.
No more Dean Norris spottings, even though I look everywhere I go. I'm like, is that Dean? Is that Dean? No, none of them.
Oh, no, it's Bruce Willis.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh my God. How about you? What's been going on?
Oh, same old stuff, man. The podcast has been going good. We're doing lots of theater around here, which is awesome because like 5 years ago, pre-COVID, there was like nothing and we couldn't do anything. And now it's like there's so much now. I feel like now I'm busier now than I was before COVID, which
Good.
is actually not a bad thing. Do you find keeping yourself busy always like how crucial is keeping busy to your mental health? Do you find, especially with you do so much content and you also work full time as well too? How important is just doing what you do good for your overall sanity?
I feel like if I didn't operate the way I personally operate, part of me wouldn't be living. But it does get stressful. Not that I'm like some crazy, like I don't operate like super. I don't feel like I do, but like I'll get home from long days of work. I go to work at like 8 a.m., leave sometimes at like 6 p.m. Eastern. And then usually I'll work out and go record videos or edit or write or whatever videos. And that takes up a big chunk of my day. So by the time I have downtime to myself, it's very minimal, or even with my girlfriend or whatever, which it's a lot, but I also don't know that I'd want to operate any other way. Cause I personally like having like routine schedules and like things like that occupy my time. I feel like if I didn't have, I don't know, like I feel like if I didn't have this, which is like YouTube or even, a business or whatever, things like that, I'd have a hard time operating the way I normally do, if that makes any sense. It's busy days, but I like I like the schedule where I'm jam-packed. Makes me feel fulfilled personally. I don't know.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I mean, there's always two ways to look at it where you don't want to overdo it because then, stress, anxiety, all that stuff takes over. And so there's always a matter of wanting to keep busy, but then also trying to be like, okay, I have a life too. Like, there's people in your life, like you got your lady with you, you're like, I want to actually see her instead of just just coming home from work doing videos and then just don't see her at all. You want to be able to make time to see her. And then also, I mean, like, I'm sure like there's other family that you have that. How hard is it to make time for them? I mean, like, is that easy too, or?
That's easy. I mean, I don't do stuff every single day, which is good. So like, I try to always leave my weekends open. Like, I don't do anything unless there's a video I really want to get out, or like something I'm working on with a deadline, or like right now, Daryl Dixon's out. So I make those videos Sunday nights, but I try to keep my weekdays very, very busy. And then weekends, I like completely detach unless I need to do something. That's what I try to do at least. So,
well, that's good though. That's really, really good. And people sometimes have a difficult time shutting that off. I've done that in the past, but now I'm trying to get better at it where I'm like, okay, just take the weekend, and I've been getting a lot better at it. I mean, speaking of time and time consuming or like things that just consume your time, one thing that you've done this past year, you tried it, and I actually liked it a lot. You tried going the reaction channel, the Jerry's Reacts channel. That didn't pan out as good as you had hoped. Are there any plans maybe to try it again, or no, it just takes too much time?
No, I'm not doing that. I wanted to, like, I thought it would be fun. It is fun, like reacting and like making that content. I love watching reaction content. I always have. That was a big thing about Walking Dead when I was young, is watching reacting content. But it's just, I don't have time for it. Like the amount of editing that has to go into it. And then the problem with it is, so with YouTube's kind of interesting. Like you could upload anywhere from like a 3 to 5 second clip of a TV show and not get copyright striked for it, or like not striked, but the tagged for copyright. So editing for that into a reaction takes forever because you got to download the episode, then you got to cut it up in areas that mix with your reaction that fit with YouTube's guideline policies, and then you upload it one time. It gets rejected because of copyright, which I don't want. Like, I mean, it's fine to upload copyrighted content. You could do it. It's not sustainable if you ever want to monetize the channel, number one. Number two, which isn't like a huge concern, but also it could lead to copyright strikes because they have free reign at that point to get those, even though they may not hit. So like there's a lot of red flags with that I don't think is worth the risk. And then you reject it, you go and edit it again. It took up so much time that I don't have. And I feel like I've gotten into a rhythm with the content I've been making lately, which can always be improved upon, but where I feel very comfortable with my schedule churning content out. And that was just a big thorn in my side to do, even though I only did like 2 or 3 of them. So I was like, you know what? Cool idea. I wish I could continue it, but I'm not doing that. The only way I could see myself is if one day my full-time job was much more lenient on my hours. That would be like the only way. But for now, no, not doing it.
Or they just fire you. You're saying, okay, I can do it now.
That too. That's always one way out the door. Congratulations, you've been promoted to customer. You never know.
Yeah, literally. Yeah. To customer, and now you've received another promotion to reaction channel.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
Congratulations. Go back to editing freaking 8 hours a day. Not really, but yeah. But
I wonder how profitable that business is, like reaction channels like that. I mean, like that's pretty, like I'm sure there's people on YouTube who just make a living off doing that stuff, you know?
Oh yeah. Like I'm thinking of Nikki and Steven. I don't know if you know them. They have like 300K, something like that. They did all of I'm trying to look them up to make sure that name's right. I think they have like 300K subscribers, and that's all they do is they just churn out reaction content, which was honestly like a big inspiration for what I wanted to make with the channel. Yeah, they've almost 400,000 now. I'm sure this is like all they do. I could be wrong, but they definitely make good money doing this. Between that and their Patreon and things like that, they have to make good money with this.
That's insane. Like I remember just thinking about that whole concept. Like people, what do you do for a living? I react to TV shows and movies.
I know. It's so weird. It's so weird that we live in a world that's like that. And like, just in general, YouTube, I think we talked about this before, but YouTube is such an awesome platform. And just in general, social media, I guess some of it is great for individuals and media because it opens up this whole world that never, ever existed before. Like, I couldn't even imagine back in the day if you wanted to be in TV or whatever, before there was computers, you wanted to be in TV, you wanted to be in movies. Like, how do you do that? Like, how do you even begin that journey? I understand, of course, theater and all of that stuff, but to get to like the actual main screen and get spotted and all of that stuff, obviously it was attainable, obviously it was done, but in such a different way. Like now, YouTube is just everything. People are celebrities just from YouTube. Like I was with my friend, like I was talking about, I was with my friend who has like 2 million subs. We were out with him this past weekend and everyone on the streets was recognizing him. And it's like, it's just so bizarre that you could do that with just your phone and your laptop and become like in your own ways a mini celebrity. Like it has never not boggled my mind that we live in a world that opportunity is possible. Like it's crazy.
Oh, it's unreal. And even some of the stuff that you can do, like with your iPhone camera, you can make full-on cartoons by changing filters, and it looks so cool. Yeah. I'm like, holy shit, that's actually insane. Like just how much things have changed, and like all these people making so much money. Like just recently, I mean, someone like, I'll be honest. I didn't know this guy, Jack Doherty, the guy who crashed his car while streaming. I'm not sure if you heard about this. I never heard of him before, but basically what happened was he was driving with his cameraman. He was texting and driving, and he crashed his car. The camera guy got hurt. I think he's okay now, and he was more concerned about his like $1 million car that he had just crashed.
Wow.
And not, oh, it was unreal. I saw that. I'm like, I never even heard of this guy before.
I'm looking this up. Go ahead.
Yeah, Jack Doherty or Doherty. I'm not sure how you say that. Doherty. Yeah.
Whoa.
Those guys listen to audio. Jerry's jaw just hit the floor.
How do you crash a McLaren like that? Oh my God. That's while he was streaming?
Yeah. Texting, streaming, doing all that stuff. And then when he crashed and his friend walks out, he's covered in blood and he's like, oh, dude, my car. Oh, no. I'm just thinking like, dude, like, what the hell? Like, you let this fame get to your head, dude. All you care about is your fucking car.
That's disgusting.
Like, that's unreal. How crucial is that to not let fame get to your head? Like, how do you see fame? How do you see all this stuff? I mean, like, you've done very, very well for yourself, but I like you're very humble about it. You're very, I mean, like, you know, you're got this all this high tech stuff. Like, your camera quality is fantastic. You're not going around thinking, look at me, guys. I'm Jerry's Takes, motherfucker. Like, you're not walking around like that. How important is it to keep, you know, just stay true to yourself?
I don't really, I kind of look at this like, I don't know. That's a good question because I think I'm very, like, I don't really think about this at all, to be honest. Like, it doesn't really, like, I don't know. I feel like I'm too small to, like, have that sort of conundrum personally. That being said, I don't know. I just try to look at it like I'm just making content I'd want to watch, and it feels like I'm talking to a community. It doesn't feel like there's people that like watch for me. I feel weird talking about this because like I don't really think about.
Let's get real.
Like,
get real.
Get real. Come on, get real. I don't know. I look at it like I'm just talking to my community. That's kind of the way I look at it. I don't really think about it any differently. The few times I've been recognized, whether it was at like The Walking Dead's thing, where we saw The Ones Who Live, or this one time in a shore town I was like, oh, that's so weird. Like, I felt very weird about it because I was like, how do they know me? Like, that's very bizarre. That's the only time that's like ever like came into my mind like that. But other than that, it's really just like I'm talking to my community, and you know, I try to invest in videos that I want to see. And like the more I invest into those videos and the more I, you know, invest in the community, it feels like I'm just having a more enriching conversation. I guess. I don't know if that like answers the question because like I feel weird about that. I feel weird about that whole thing. But how
important is it to not be an egomaniac? Like, you know, that's basically the question. No.
Yeah. Well, it's very important. I mean, I'm not going to name names, but another guy I know, I went to college with this guy and he became very, very well known online. And he used to be a very nice guy. And I saw him out like recently and he was just very rude. And like, you could tell he was like very like cocky. And I hate that. Like it irks me to my core. It's like, you used to be a nice guy, but like, why? Well, I don't know. It's unfortunate. I can't relate to that. Like, I don't know what it's like when you have that much of a sphere of influence and how like money and all of that. I have no idea. That's a totally like bigger step than anywhere near where I'm at or whatever. So like, I can't imagine what goes through their heads. So to some extent, there's part of me that is like, I don't know if the word is I could understand, but like I could see how like that gets to some people's with certain types of egos heads. I could see it. I don't agree with it, if that makes sense.
No, exactly. And it's always that question, would you rather be rich or famous? I always say it's I mean, like, I'm very content doing what I'm doing, like with Corcoran Entertainment. We're very well known within the community, and for all the shows and stuff we do. But like, I'm fine with that. You know what I mean? Like, I'm fine. Like, if nobody else in the world knows who I am, like, I'm fine with just, sticking in my little bubble, so to speak, connecting where I can, like with people like you, like, all the way from NYC, you know what I mean? Like, that's quite a leap right there. But yeah, because here's one thing I love about Bryan Cranston, the great Bryan Cranston. He has said before, he said, I'm not one of those guys who buys the big fancy cars and this and that. He said he drives like a old SUV or something like that. Mm-hmm. Like, that's all he drives. He's like, I don't care about how I look. I don't care about what I drive. I'm just living life. And Lily, like, one of the greatest actors, probably, I mean, I think I can argue he is the greatest actor alive. I mean, is that how you see it? Is he the greatest actor alive, or like, how do you?
I think by far, and now I've never really thought about who I find. I don't really think about it too often, but I think he's probably among the greats that of all time. It's hard for me to find another that fits in the same caliber as him. So yeah, I'd say he's probably one of the greatest for sure.
No, exactly. And I mean, like, not just for his amazing acting ability and his range, where he goes from silly dad from Malcolm in the Middle to now, Say My Name, in Breaking Bad, but also just hearing about what he's like as a person, where he's so talented and he's so famous, and he's so well known. He's like, I'm just a normal guy. Those are the types of people that I, really, really admire.
Same.
Like just with every fiber of my being. Like Dean Norris, when you met Dean Norris, he's just chilling in a bar. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We bring up that story a lot. I just find that so funny. That's just the funniest story, that you just walk in and fucking Dean Norris is sitting there.
Still to this day, the wildest story. That was Dean Norris. Yeah, he's very humble too. And that's great. I feel like that's such a good thing. And especially like right now, with everything that's been happening in Hollywood and the music industry, with people like Diddy and things like that going on, man. It's like, it's so great when you could tell there's genuine actors out there that never I'm sure to some extent, when you're famous, there's a bit of ego. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure, but the amount of how humble people like Bryan Cranston are is just, it's truly remarkable. Like, it is like just, and then even someone like Vince Gilligan, like those people, I see interviews with Vince Gilligan all the time where people are praising him. Like, literally, I think Vince Gilligan is just like, there should be a statue of him in every city in the world. Like, but every interview I see with them, he's always just like, they're all saying, "Oh, Vince, you did a great job." Well, I gotta give it to my team and this and that, and he's just crediting everybody but himself. I'm thinking, like, Vince Gilligan, you don't gotta sell yourself short, man. You wrote this, like, it was, I think it was when they were promoting El Camino. He wrote and directed it and stuff like that, and he's just, "Oh well, I gotta give it up to my crew," not taking any credit for himself. It's a good impression. That's a really good impression.
That's my best Vince Gilligan impression. I'm Vince. You do pretty good impression. You do great impressions too, by the way. For those of you guys who haven't seen, so speaking, so last time we talked was For the Ones Who Live.
Yeah.
Which ended up coming out like a few weeks after our last interview, and the funniest impression I've ever seen was you doing your best impression of, spoiler alert for anybody who hasn't seen All the Ones Who Live, your RJ impression, Rick's son, was the funniest thing I've just ever seen. Just, are you the brave man?
Are you the brave man? I believed.
For those of you guys who have seen the ending, you know exactly what I saw that I laughed out loud. Oh my God. So like we were talking about it then, just how excited we were for The Ones Who Live. First episode was like you said, was a masterpiece. Like literally, I think it's one of the best episodes, period.
Same.
The fourth episode was the best episode of the series. I know that has kind of changed for some people like yourself, given seeing how the series all wrapped up. But for me, I still think episode 4 was the best. And I think it's if I had to do a top 5 Walking Dead episodes list, I honestly think I put that in there. I thought that episode 4 was terrific. But then it just went out. So right, we got one episode left. We got to wrap this up. Like boom, 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 boom. It's been like 6 months now. Has your feelings changed towards The Ones Who Live ending? Or like, how do you view the series overall?
I'm so mixed. My opinion has stayed pretty much the exact same. I do agree. I actually think episode 4 of The Ones Who Live was a masterpiece of an episode in and of itself. Like if you ignore everything that came before it, everything that came after it, episode 4 is a fantastic episode, like 10 out of 10, which is good. I mean, on its own, it could live on its own. Episode 4 is great, and that's fine. But contextually, spending that much time, if you're going to do 6 episodes of a show with this, knowing what we know now, knowing that Beale was going to go, knowing that the CRM was going to go, and you in the writer's room, and I'm not a writer, so I can't like speak to how that works, but I would think if I was in the writer's room of a show like that, and I'm like, okay, we need to do this, we need to do this, we need to do this, how are we going to break down the story? If that was me, you can't have an episode like episode 4. If it's this important for you to end the story the way they did, as fast as they did, they need to make it believable. They need to make it feel real. And the only way you could do that is to build up the story in a way that is like a full-on progression. This show, episodes 1 through 4, I thought were brilliant. Like, I thought they were all phenomenal episodes. And if they had just been able to extend it out, this is where my opinion's like, I'm going in and out of 2 different things, but if they could have just extended out the series to like 10 episodes or even 8, those 4 episodes would not be fractured, in my opinion. And they're not. Like, on their own, 1 is perfect. On their own, 4 is still perfect. But contextually, if you're looking at it from 1 to 6, those 6 episodes, you can't slow down the story that much to the point where you just have I thought, terrible episode in episode 5. And then 6 wasn't a bad episode. It was just so rushed that nothing, well, actually it kind of was bad. Like honestly, Thorne surviving, them, even Rick and Michonne surviving made no sense at all. Like
it took them 2 full seasons to beat the Saviors.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, the CRM, who is like hundreds and hundreds of thousands of soldiers, 2 people killed them all because love conquers all. It's like, no, that's so stupid. It's so cheesy. That's the problem.
I agree. And that's, I think, my problem with the series overall. There were some banger episodes, and just like I compare it a lot to Game of Thrones, because earlier seasons of Game of Thrones were perfect. They were so good, and they will always be so good because they were made, they were developed, they're out, and they came out great. But the later seasons of Game of Thrones, like 7 and 8, ruined the show. Does that mean the earlier seasons were bad? No. No, they're still great seasons. But contextually, when you have the full picture, it diminishes the overall package. That's how I feel about The Ones Who Live. There were some banger episodes that I'd recommend to anyone go see. Like, go see the whole series. That's fine. Go see the whole series, because there's bangers that really offset how I feel about the ending. But also, the ending is just so rushed when you're telling the story that it really alters the series for me. Do I like where it ended up? Yes, I'm okay with it. I'm okay that Rick got home. I'm okay, inevitably, that the CRM was destroyed. Sure. I'm okay with a lot of the ways the story's panned out, similar to how in Game of Thrones. At large, I'm okay with a lot of the ways that show ended. But just the way it was told to get there and how much time absolutely ruined it to me. It absolutely destroyed it to me. And that's how I feel about the show. I could still love it and appreciate for what was great about it, but I'm also cognizant of the fact that it really just was extremely underwhelming of an ending in the way it was told. I don't know, but I'd love to hear from you, like how you feel about that too.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And that's a great way to look at it, where episodes 1 to 4 were absolutely fantastic. But looking at an episode 6 where you have to end it, you're like, okay, we can't slow the story down. If this is it, like if this is the last we're gonna see of Rick and Michonne, if this is the last of the series, then we gotta nail it. We can't have there's no time for like filler. There's no time for development. We gotta just nail it. And you said with episode 5, I didn't dislike the episode. My biggest critique was, I think it focus too much on the Jada side of things, where I'm like, okay, she's a villain. Like, why are we spending all this time redeeming her at the end? Like, it was a whole episode about her. And I'm like, I think we could have, in context now, like now that we know where it all ended up, I'm thinking, okay, we could have trimmed that down. We could have maybe, I don't know, like anything else, so we could focus a bit more on Terrio Quinn, because he was wasted on this show. Like, just like remarkable actor. We were all excited to see him on, and he gets one big moment to shine, and boom, he's gone. And so seeing it from the start, I mean, like, as I said, the first episode was a masterpiece. Just seeing Rick after all these years, and Andrew Lincoln just at his absolute best was like literally, I think this is some of his best work he's ever done.
Same.
Episode 2 was not as good, but still good. I think for me, it was more so because we had seen Michonne a lot after Rick left, but we were all just like, where's Rick? So I think it was just getting to see him again was, I think that's what made it so much better. And then also they chopped off his goddamn hand in the first 10 minutes. So it's like, that's the kind of show we're going for here. Like, this is amazing pacing. And then 3 was okay. Like, it was good. It wasn't anything mind blowing. Episode 4, I think it honestly might be the theater guy in me, because Denai Guerrero wrote the episode, and she's a, acclaimed playwright. She's like some amazing stuff that she's done in theater, and it just gave me that kind of vibe where it's set in one area, just one building. I'm like, it felt like a play to me, and I'm like, that's just the theater, writer, director, actor, all that stuff is just coming out of me. I'm like, I love that stuff. And then so after that, I said, okay, like episode 5, okay, awesome, here we go. We got to see Father Gabriel again. I was like, holy fuck. Like, what was your reaction to Father Gabriel, by the way? I was so shocked by that.
When he did that thing where he went like that in the beginning of the episode and just turned, I was like, whoa, Father Gabriel. Like, I was like freaking out, and I was so excited to see him, because I thought maybe he was going to be like the bridge to get them home. Like, that's kind of like where I thought maybe him being in there was going to go. But it just turned out to be fucking filler fluff for Jadis, which, okay, it's great to see Father Gabriel. Like, it's nice to see him. I'm not going to debate that. But
he's one of my favorite characters, hands down. Same.
I love Father G. So I was very happy to see him. And it was great that he made an appearance in The Ones Who Live It All, because, like, it feels like it's more of The Walking Dead when you have, like, Father G. Even Jadis, even though she's, like, not like that as much, but like it made it feel really well centered in the Walking Dead universe. But my thing with it is, like, that entire episode, if we look at it holistically, not much happened that was worth it being a single episode. If you know you're going to end the show, if you know you're going to end it and it's going to have this big grandiose ending, obviously there's some plot points in there you need to tell, but they could have been merged in a way with like episode 4 a little bit, if you extend out a little bit of time in there, and then focus on episode 6 being like bigger, like more of a 2-parter. Whereas episode 5 kind of just felt like an episode of The Walking Dead. And it also, like, it moved the plot, but it kind of didn't either. And that's where I'm at. That episode really just, I think that's where the show kind of fell apart. But I don't
No,
know.
definitely. Like, I think if they did have even just one more episode, I think if they had 7 episodes, I mean, it's an odd number, but I mean, just one more,
Yeah.
I might have been okay with it.
Same. Yeah.
Because, like, even episode 5, I'm like, okay, maybe that stuff with Jadis, they could have trimmed that down. But if you had more time in the season, if you had 7, 8 episodes, like 8 episodes, we always got 8 episodes before a mid-season finale. I'm not sure why they didn't go with that unless it was a budgetary reason. I assume that's probably what it was, or something like that. But like, just like 2 more episodes, I could totally be fine with how everything went in episode 5, no matter how much I thought they could have cut down from it. Seeing Father Gabriel was awesome, but when you got that much time, you can't. It'd be like if in Breaking Bad, like, say the final episode, like the last episode, was just entirely focused on I don't know, Todd. Yeah. It's like, dude, we got 1 episode left and you're focusing on Todd. Like, what the fuck? Like, that's kind of what it felt like. Okay, good character, but the story's almost done now. It's not like, oh, it's fine, we'll get to the rest of it next season. No, there is no next season. This is it. Do you think we're gonna see a season 2? Because I don't think so.
No,
but
I don't think so. Yeah. I know, like, Movie Idol, he always talks about it. He's a pretty big YouTuber, for those of you who don't know.
He's really good, but he's very optimistic that we're going to season 2.
He's very optimistic, and every time and I'm not throwing shade because I do like his content a lot. Awesome. But every time he's like speculating and talking about season 2, I'm like, dude, the story is done. Like, what are you gonna do? Okay, yeah, we might see Rick at some point again, but I would put money down that we're not going to see The Ones Who Live season 2. We're going to see, I do wholeheartedly think at some point in time, inevitably, we're going to see Rick Grimes in some capacity, even if it's for 10 minutes again. Like, we will see him at some point.
Daryl Dixon. If I had to predict, I'd say we'll see him in Daryl Dixon at some point.
Yeah. This is such a side note, but I hate that these Paramount Plus leaks happen because it's staining it for me. Because, like, I know like, not anything about Rick at all, but like, it bothers me that whatever. Never mind. I hate that thing happened. I know this is a total side note because
we will get
I want to talk about, like, things in general that, even though there's no spoilers, period, I don't want to spoil a moment that no one saw yet. So. But yeah, I know. Sorry, I didn't mean to go off on that.
No, that's perfect. I love the old Jerry tangents; they're so good.
Yeah, I didn't mean to, like, open my mouth about that. Start yapping about something.
I'm just gonna bleep that whole part. No, okay.
Good.
No spoilers at all. It's okay.
None. Yeah.
But yeah, like, as much as I love and as you said, Movie Idol, like, just I love his coverage on Walking Dead and stuff like that, and everything, really. He covers lots of things, but every time he goes, well, season 2, I think we'll see this, and season 2, I think they're going to announce it. I'm like, dude, no, we're not getting season 2. It's almost like us saying, man, I can't wait for us to get a sequel to El Camino. It's like, no, we're not getting a sequel to El Camino. Just let it go.
Yeah.
But I think what has caused people to, because it's not just Movie Idol. I'm seeing lots of people who are thinking, when season 2 gonna be announced? It's because, and I think this is what Scott Gimple likes to do, as great as talented of a writer as he is and stuff like that. He's had his moments and stuff like that. The fact that he won't outright say we're done, he just says, well, if the story is right, and like, I'm like, dude, just say, is the story done? Yes or no? Like, that's all you have to say. And so I get from that point of view where Movie Idol thinks, or not just Movie Idol, but everybody's thinking there's going to be a season 2. I just think if Scott Gimple would just come out and just say, no, we're done, that would just done. End of conversation. There's no season 2. But I think even Andrew Lincoln has said, well, if the story's right and all this and that, and it's like, so is it done? So to me, it's done. Do I want to see more? That's another question. Would you want to see a season 2? I mean, like, you don't think there will be a season 2, but if one came out, would you be excited, or would you just be like, fuck no?
No, I'd be excited. I still don't like where it ended or anything like that, but quite frankly, anything with Rick Grimes in it, I'd watch. So from a writing perspective, I think the story's done, so I'd be a little angsty about the idea of them doing it. But no, I mean, I'd be excited to see it. I'd still watch it. Yeah, I don't know. I'm
Player by ear.
yeah, play it by ear, see what happens. I just don't think it is interesting how much the narrative has shifted, because when they were announcing The Ones Who Live, it was very much this is a I forget what they called it, like a short mini-series, and it's only going to be one season, like a one season event. And now they're just like season 1 of The Ones Who Live, or like
the DVD. I saw the DVD on Amazon. It said season 1, so I think that's a problem. That's why people think there's going to be more.
Yeah.
So I think, I don't know if they're just purposely fucking with us or what it is.
I think from a business perspective, it makes sense to like hype people up with the idea, so you're still invested in the Walking Dead universe. Like I feel like that's a strategy that companies use a lot to get people in. But also it is still weird that they've changed their narrative. So I don't know. That's my own, that would be the only reason I'd say there's like a 1% chance that we would get. To me, it's like there's the slimmest chance because of that narrative shift. That's it. I don't know what you could do from a story perspective, but narratively, there's a chance, I guess.
Like The Ones Who Live, the book of Morales. Like, I don't know. Like
The Book of Morales.
Speaking of the book, I fucking hate that title. I really don't like the Book of Carol, because it's so funny. Every time I'm talking about it on the podcast, like I'll do like my solo segments where I do the reviews, and I'm like, time to review The Walking Dead, Daryl Dixon, Book of Carol. I'm like, oh my God, I hate saying that.
Yeah.
Now I can't wait for season 3, the Book of,
Book
Troy
of
Otto. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like Troy Otto's back. I don't know.
He's back a third time. He's finally
third time's the charm. Like he's gonna come back, no eyes. Like
no eyes, a hole
Lord.
in his stomach from getting stabbed. Yeah. Sorry,
and then,
spoilers.
Oh yeah, spoiler alert for Fear the Walking Dead. And then a hole in his head is geez, 3 holes in his head. I don't know. Like that's but Paramount Plus, yeah, they fucked up big time.
Yeah.
So like I talked about how, in a way, I guess, like, it's so funny. I would always give people shit for like, oh, like just don't be watching leaks and this and that.
Yeah.
And then I went and watched the whole season. I went and watched all 6 episodes. And so now I'm kind of thinking like, oh, geez, maybe I am part of the problem. But I mean, in a way, that wouldn't have been out there if Paramount Plus didn't. I mean, I'm sure. I don't know any specifics about it. I don't think it was some guy saying, I'm gonna break the rules and this and that. I think it was just a mistake.
Yeah, I think so.
I don't know. I mean, like I have no idea how it happened, but it happened. like there's no question about that. There's no sense in trying to find out how it happened. It happened. How do you see that now? Because you haven't seen all 6 episodes. You've only seen, at the time of this recording, you've seen some
4.
of them, right?
I've seen up to episode 4.
Right. So how do you see it now, like where people like us are watching it now and we're all about trying to, contain these leaks and stuff like that, but it's all out there. Like, how do you deal with that? You know what I mean? Like, do we just not watch it? But then we're scrolling through TikTok and we see all these spoilers. I won't say what, but how do you see that?
Well, my thing is, when I go on Twitter and I see major spoilers, I want to watch it. Like, if I've seen that, I'm like, okay, fuck it. Pardon my French, I've already gotten this far. I'm going to seek this now, because like now it just kind of ruined my day. I don't know why. That's just me. That's just me personally. Like, when I saw those leaks on Twitter, I immediately reached out to a couple people I knew and was like, okay, if anyone has them, I'll watch them. And that's how I ended up seeing the episodes. And I think when something like that happens, where from a major company the show gets leaked, just release the episodes, because a lot of people have seen it. I know it messes with your business strategy of drip feeding and blah blah blah, but it was out there. People saw it. A lot of hard work went into these episodes. So you want people to have a sense of community when you watch them. Just release the episodes. Just drop them. Let people watch. I mean, this season came out very shortly after season 1. So I guess the point I'm making with that is these 2 seasons kind of in a way feel like one season. People have seen it. Just drop the episodes. It's out there. We know it's there. A lot of us have seen the very major things that happen in the episodes. So just drop it. Like,
exactly.
Because I want to talk about it, but I can't.
No, exactly.
Yeah.
That's the thing. It's like there's that part of you that wants to, but then you also don't want to be like the people that you hate where they just spoil things and then you're mad. Why would you spoil that? And now we're in the position now where it's so funny now, like having seen all 6 episodes and you're watching everybody predict, I think this is going to happen. I think this is going to happen. I'm watching it like, no, sorry. That's not going to happen.
Didn't happen.
And part of me just wants to sign on and just go, no.
Yeah, so, I know.
Like this happened. I'm like, no, I can't do that. I just can't.
Well, you're a better person because I'm sure there's a ton of people who are doing that right now.
Oh my God, 100%. I haven't seen Joker fully ado yet, but I hopped on Twitter and I'm seeing everything. I'm going to see it at some point soon. Yeah. But that's a perfect example there of just the spoilers are there. You know, what are you going to do? Like just not go on social media as beneficial as that might be, because some of the shit you see on there is just, you know, it makes you question the human race. Yes. But then also for spoilers, I'm like, do I just not go online? And I just like to scroll through TikTok and next thing you know, I see a big major spoiler for Daryl. For fuck's sakes. Like,
that's the thing. Like I open my Twitter timeline and the first thing I see, not going to say what it was, but it was a major, major moment of the season. And I'm not even gonna teeter around the idea of what it was. But all I will say is what the spoiler was is something that you obviously expect is going to happen at some point. But like, why would they? It just bothers me that it was out there. But then I saw it and I was like, okay, I'm gonna watch the season. So,
but then also to a degree, The Walking Dead producers do this all the time. This is Rick Grimes' last season. This is his last 2 episodes. This is his last episode. I'm thinking, don't tell us.
I know.
We know he's leaving. First off, just don't announce that he's leaving. Like the rumors were out there. Just pretend. Just go on like nothing happened.
Yeah.
And then even like them announcing the Maggie and Negan spinoff before The Walking Dead ended, and then they announced Daryl and Carol after. I'm just like, well, any scene I see where they're in trouble, they're going to be fine. So it just, in a way, you know, they kind of had it coming. They spoil a lot of stuff for themselves. And then they're wondering, why are they leaking this? And it's like,
I know.
It sucks to suck, doesn't it? Like,
facts. That's also one of the things that annoys me. I mean, at this point, by the time we're recording this, episode 2 of Daryl Dixon came out. So we could talk about at least episode 2. There's a moment.
Episode 3 will actually be out by the time this comes out as well. So.
Oh, okay, good. Oh, I hated that episode. But anyway,
Jerry's getting upset.
Jerry's getting upset. I hated that episode. But okay, even in episode 3, since it'll be out by the time that this is up, there's moments in this season where Daryl and Carol are in these like dire circumstances where they're like about to die or something like that. And it's like, obviously they're not going to die. Like, why are you doing like, it gets me so annoyed because they've been doing this in The Walking Dead forever. And that was definitely something that bothered me with season 11 of The Walking Dead, where like Negan was in circumstances, Maggie were in circumstances where they might die. But it's like, nope, they have a show to go to. Like, it's like, And like,
we've just seen trailers for them. You know what I mean? Like before the final episode's there, we're like, God damn it.
Exactly. And it's like, okay, now we know season 3 of Daryl Dixon's coming out. Why they would even announce that while the show's in episode 2, I don't fucking know. Sorry to curse again. But
no, go ahead. Yeah. They announced it like months before season 2, before we even got a trailer for season 2. Like, it's unreal.
It's like, now I know anything that happens. Carol and one, we obviously know, and this isn't even a spoiler, we obviously know Daryl and Carol are going to find each other at some point, and we obviously know they're going to survive because there's a season 3. Like, it's just crazy to me. It's just like, why do that? And when leaks come out, just drop the, just, I don't know. I'm so mixed on this, but I completely agree that they're shooting themselves in the foot when they do these things where they'll announce things before the season airs or before things like that. Good television doesn't do that. And that's what I feel like separated. If you look at the season 5 trailer, this is a small example. The season 5 trailer for The Walking Dead, if you ever go back and watch it, it's truly fascinating. I'm not sure if you remember it or not, but they made the narrative look like it was going to be this, like, I forget exactly, but something like it was like the internal dialogue and battle of like Terminus, and like they were going to like make it good or whatever. But
and like Terminus joins or like
Yes.
Gareth joins Rick. Yes, I remember that. We're like, what are they doing? And then no, that was not what happened.
That's how you announce a show. That's how you do it. That's when The Walking Dead was good. When you do things to, like, in your marketing, get people excited, but don't tell them anything. Don't give them anything to make them feel something. So that in episode 1, when it's No Way Out, or is it No Way Out? I don't know the name of the first episode of that. Whatever. That episode was so great and shocking because no one saw it coming. And that's how you do it. Like, and I guess this is the reversal wherein we knew these characters were going to live so that, you know, when they had dire circumstances, it didn't matter. But still, like, they used to be good at this and they're just not, they don't care about it anymore.
Exactly. It's so clear now that it's just, you know, money. We like money. That's all they see is just like cha-ching. Like they're just like, it's what's his face? Scrooge McDuck is running AMC. That's all he sees now is just money. Let's just get it. Like, it's just, it's so stupid. And
it is.
And this is, as someone, like, people will hear us talk like this and just think, well, you guys are just negative and there's that. No, we're just expressing our opinions. We love these shows. We love these shows. And this is one of the reasons why I was so fascinated by your YouTube channel, is that you have such a strong passion for all these shows, but you're honest. You will say when you love something and like, oh, this episode was perfect, and then, oh, this episode was shit. You're not afraid to, you know, you're not on AMC's payroll or anything. Mm-hmm. Like, that's one thing. Like, I see so many, like, I remember, I think I said this one time, I think during our last interview, when Collider would just, and, you know, kudos to Collider, they're giving their honest takes on it, and, oh, this episode sucked, blah, 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 blah. And then they had, I can't remember what actor, Josh McDermott, came on the show, and they're like, oh, this episode was so fantastic. I'm like, fuck off. You were just talking about 2 seconds ago how you hated the episode. The episode's now you're kissing his ass. Like, that's what I can't stand. I mean, like, what? This is funny. What if I brought one of the actors from the show on here? How honest would you be?
That's a very good question. I'd like to think I'd be super critical, but I haven't been in that environment to know. Realistically, I'm a very honest person. So I would still maintain my honesty. I'd think I'd still maintain my honesty, but I'd also be starstruck. Like, I'd be like, oh my God. I mean, like, I don't know. I don't think I'd ever be the type to, like, you know, like, suck off someone who's on my, sorry for lack of a better word, to, like, suck off a celebrity that's in a show I like just because they're there. If I didn't like something, I'd like to ask them about it. And even if they have NDAs, I'd be very curious to know, like, what their actual perspective is and, like, if they thought it was good and why they thought it was good. And I'm not talking about, like, the acting usually. I'm talking about, like, the writing. Like, if there's something I didn't like, I'd like to ask them, like, I didn't like this. What is your perspective on this? Tell me what you thought. Do you believe in this? Do you not? I'd like to think that's how I am or how I would be. I have no idea. It's never happened, but maybe one day. I don't know.
Well, here's something you and I should try to do. If this happens, we're going on the record, guys. Hold us to this. If we get a hold of Scott Gimple for an interview, you and I got to get him down, and we got to sit him down and go, okay, Scott, why did you kill Carl?
That would be all I would ask. I'd be like, okay, I can get behind, like, some poor decisions, whatever. Why? Just why did this happen? Why?
Yeah. I will be here as backup. Like, Scott, what the fuck? Like,
yeah, that would not be something I would hold back on. If I ever was in a room with him, that would be my, like, hand on the Bible be my first question. I'd be like, I need to know why. What was your reasoning? What's your thoughts? Why did this happen? Because you could have done a million other things, but you ruined the show. So,
like, that's okay. Let's make that happen, guys. If you guys have any contact info, no, I'm just kidding. Yeah, send us Scott Gimple's phone number.
Yeah,
we'll
text
shoot him a
it.
text.
Yeah.
We'll just
Hey,
text
Scott.
him.
Yeah.
Like, he's
Scotty P. Or Scotty, whatever his name is. Scotty G.
Scotty G. He's like, who the fuck are these idiots? Like, oh man, dude, like, Jerry, you and I could go on and on for hours about this stuff. But you know, we don't want the podcast to go on crazy long. So I thought we would wrap up with this question. I mean, like, you know, of course, since this is the big 150 for my show, and you've done what, 260 videos, I think we said earlier.
Yeah.
How important is quality over quantity, or vice versa? Like, how do you see that whole thing? How important is it to not only keep up high quality, but, you know, produce a good number of videos and episodes? Like, how do you see that?
I think quality triumphs everything, personally, and there is no. I personally think that quantity doesn't matter even in the YouTube algorithm. And I know there's many ways of looking at quantity and blah, 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 but they say you're supposed to upload 7 or once every 7 days to stay on YouTube's algorithm's good terms. That's like what people say online. That's bullshit. It's not real. All that matters to me, at least this is my opinion, is that you make content that you'd watch. You'd make content that you find to be quality. And practice doesn't make perfect, it makes progress. So there's never going to be some like perfection you're looking to achieve or whatever. But on the journey, your videos continue to get better. Your whatever your art it is continues to get better. So for me, quality is a very big thing. And if some people hold a standard of quantity, that's great for them. But personally, I think quality is everything. It's a very important thing. I hope that answers the question, though.
Yeah, no, absolutely. 100% it does. Like, that's because there could be a shit show that has like 500 plus episodes, but a lot of it is just rushed. Like, it's just blah, 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 blah. I got to get this out. You got to take the time to edit it, do all that good stuff, make sure it's good, and then upload it. That way you have 500 plus episodes that look fantastic, that sound fantastic, or just overall fantastic. Yeah. That, to me, has always been more important than anything. I mean, it's always great to look at, big milestones and see how far you've come. But really keeping the quality consistent is always super important at the end of the day. And thank you to you, Jerry, for encouraging people like myself to do better in what we are doing here with podcasting and giving our honest reviews and honest takes on certain things in entertainment. And just thank you. Yeah. Thank you for being Jerry. Just thank you for being you, man. And, thank you for coming on again for the second time. And hopefully it won't be the last. Hopefully after this, you're not like, fuck, I'm not doing that again.
No way, dude. I wouldn't be here twice and still be thinking that or anything like that. No way. I would definitely be on again. Happily. And if we get Scott Gimple, I'll be on as many times. I don't know. If we get Scott Gimple, that'd be insane. Work on it, people. No, I'm just joking. I'm totally joking.
Yes. I will make some calls. You guys make calls. Jerry will make calls.
I know a guy.
Jerry. Yeah, I know. Yeah. I'm gonna go. I know a guy who knows a guy who knows another guy who knows Scott Gimple. Like, I had Josh Michael on here from Walking Dead. Jared, maybe I could ask him. Yeah, I could ask him. Maybe he might have. I don't know.
Yeah, it'd be a good start.
Shout out, Josh, if you're listening to this at all. But so Jerry, thank you so much. Let's definitely stay in touch, and looking forward to the rest of your coverage on not just this season of Walking Dead, but everything else to come, whether it's The Boys, if we get another Breaking Bad series, who knows? But thank you again, man. I appreciate it.
Of course. Thank you.
All right. So, guys, what we are going to do now is, for those of you guys who remember, for episode 100, we ended the regular show with a throwback to episode 1. But so for this one, I'm going to end this with a throwback to episode 2, which it's so funny going back and listening to this now, because at episode 2, one of our topics, this is, of course, with Sean Doucette and Kyle Easty, where we talked about, are the Rick Grimes movies going to happen? Like, that's how long ago this podcast was. We're talking about, are these movies going to happen? So I think it'd be so funny to just hear our thoughts then versus now, where we're talking about it. Or, well, we're not technically talking about the movies, but we're talking about the continuation of the story. But then also just to hear how shitty the audio quality was. So feel free to enjoy this, guys. Be sure to subscribe to Jerry's Takes on YouTube, and we'll see you next time, guys. Until then, this is Franky and Jerry signing off. Have a great one, man.
Have a great one. Thank you again. If you've made it all the way to the end of this video, first of all, I want to say thank you. And second, I want to let you know I have all of the links to where you could find the Corcoran Entertainment Show down below. So be sure to check Franky out. He's a friend of the channel, and I really think his podcast is something truly amazing. He actually had on Jared from The Walking Dead, which was really interesting to see his perspective on season 8 and beyond. So hopefully you check him out. He's a friend of the channel, and Franky, if you've made it this far, thank you for watching too. With that all out of the way, thank you again so much for watching this video, and until the next one, I'll talk to you later. Peace out.